Students, hope you all are enjoying good health. Today we are going to start unit number 10. Before moving towards unit number 10, we are going to understand some important concepts. So firstly, we are going to discuss here congruent triangles. So what are congruent triangles? Those triangles which are having same shape. Same shape means same angles. Same angles means that this angle B is similar to angle D and this angle A is similar to angle E and this angle C is similar to angle F. Means both the triangles are having same angle. Same angle means their shape is same. And secondly, they are having same size. Same size means the length of the side is equal. For example, this side AB is equal in length to the side DE. Similarly, the length AC is equal in length with the side EF and BC is equal in length with DF. So such type of triangles are called congruent triangles. Now here are some properties, or you can say there are some postulates which are the postulates of congruent triangles which we are going to discuss here. These four postulates are SSS, ASA, SAS and AAS postulate. The first one is SSS postulate. According to this postulate, in any correspondence of two triangles, if three sides of one triangle are congruent to three sides of other triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. Three sides means this side is congruent to this one, this side is congruent to this one, and this side is congruent to this one. If three sides of one triangle are congruent to three sides of the other triangles, then we will say that these two triangles are also congruent. So here we can write that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. The next one postulate is ASA postulate. According to this postulate, if in any correspondence of two triangles, if one angle including one side and another one angle, means two angles and one side of one triangle are congruent to two angles and one side of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So here we can say that triangle SRT is congruent to triangle VXY. Means if two angles and one side including side, the side must be in between the two angles. Two angles and one side of one triangle are congruent to two angles and one side of other triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. Next one is SAS postulate. According to this postulate, in correspondence with two triangles, if two sides and including one angle, means this angle must be in between these two sides. Two sides and one angle of one triangle is congruent to two sides and one angle of other triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. Here you can write that triangle DEF is congruent to triangle ABC. Why? Because their two sides and one angle is congruent. The last one postulate is AAS postulate. According to this postulate, if two angles and one side, but this is not important that this side must be in between these two angles. So two angles and one side of one triangle is congruent to two angles and one side of another triangle, then these two triangles are also congruent. So here you can say that triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle ABC. Okay students, now we will start theorem 10.1.1. Let's see the statement first. In statement he is saying in any correspondence of two triangles. So firstly we will draw two triangles, triangle ABC and triangle DEF. If one side and any two angles of one triangle, one side let's suppose this side and this side. If one side and any two angles, so let's suppose we are taking these two angles. So if one side and two angles of one triangle is congruent to the corresponding side and angle of the other triangle, then as we know that after this word we have to prove this thing. So after then what is written here, the triangles are congruent. So what you have to prove, that these two triangles are congruent. So what is the summary of this statement, that if one side and two angles, this one angle and let's suppose this one angle, if two angles and one side of one triangle is congruent to the two angles and one side of other triangle, then you have to prove that these two triangles are congruent. So what is given here, that in triangle ABC is having correspondence with triangle DEF. This is the sign of correspondence. So these two triangles are having correspondence between them. Angle B is congruent to angle E. Side BC is congruent to side EF, and angle C is congruent to angle F. So this is given. After then it is written the triangles are congruent. So you have to prove that the triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So this we have to prove. Okay, in construction we write that suppose that this length AB is not congruent to this length DE. So if this length is not equal to this one length, what we will do, we will take a point M on this side DE, and we will assume that now this length AB is congruent to this length ME. Suppose AB is not congruent to DE, we take a point M on DE such that AB is congruent to ME. Then what we will do, we will join this point M to point F. Now we will write the statements and the reasons. So firstly we will take the correspondence with this triangle ABC and EMF. We will write in triangle ABC is having correspondence with triangle MEF. So we will prove the correspondence between these two triangles. So firstly we will say that AB is congruent to ME. This side is congruent to this side. AB is congruent to ME. As this point M come from the construction, so you will write in the reason construction. Then the side BC is congruent to side EF. This is given. Side BC is congruent to EF. This is given. And angle B is congruent to angle E. Angle E. This is also given. So let's suppose this is point 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So this is side, this is also side, and this is angle, and angle is in between the two sides. So which postulate is applicable here? Sas postulate. So here we prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle MEF. F. And from which postulate you will prove it? SAS postulate. Students, as we have proved that these two triangles, this one triangle and this one other triangle, both are congruent, it means that this angle C is also congruent to angle MFE. Both the angles are congruent. But, and what you will write in the reason that corresponding angle of congruent triangles. But students, we have also studied, this is also given to us, that this angle C is congruent to angle DFE. This was given to us that these two angles are congruent. If this angle C is congruent to this one angle and this angle C is also congruent to this one angle, it means they both are also congruent to each other. So angle MFE is also congruent to angle DFE. But this is only possible when D and M are the same points. This is only possible when D and M is the same point. When D and M lie on the same point and ME is congruent to DE. This length ME is congruent to length DE. This ME length is congruent, means these two lengths become equal. So then we can say that AB is congruent to DE. Let's suppose this is point 4. Students, here it is mentioned that this is not possible that angle C is congruent to this angle MFE, and this also angle C is also congruent to angle DFE. These two both of the points are right only when D and M are the same point, but D and M is not on the same point. They are on the different locations. They are two different points. So this is only possible when D and M are same point. It means that our supposition, which we will take, that M, we will take a point M and try to prove that this triangle is congruent to this one, will become wrong. So it means that this triangle and this triangle is not congruent. So this triangle and this one triangle become congruent to each other. From point 2, 3 and 4. Here in the second point, one side is congruent, here one angle is congruent, and here another side is congruent. So you will write that from 1, 2 and 4, from 1, 2 and 4, point 1 to 4, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. This comes from the construction, so we'll write in the reason that this is the construction. So we are proving that this triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF.